I don't know that I've ever seen a venue have more diversity. And diversity can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. But I'm talking about ethnic, age, gender.
It definitely is intentional, and I think it's our responsibility to do that based on the community that we have here in Gwinnett that we're all very proud of.
Welcome. Thank you, both of you, for joining us here at the Voice of Business podcast. We're really excited to have both of you. I've been looking forward to this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm a big fan of sports. I'm a big fan of everything that you're doing here at the Gas South District stand. And I have been to, I think, 4 matches. It's awesome. What you're producing is incredible. And it's really the talk of Gwinnett, if not obviously the region. But look, why don't we kick off? Theresa, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you and your very cool background and the cool work that you're doing, and then we'll hear from the one and only Stan Hall.
There you go.
Perfect. Theresa Wenzel, president of the Atlanta Vibe. I have been in sports for about 3 decades. I have coached Division I basketball and Division I golf. I've been administrator at a mid-major being Siena College in Albany, New York, and then moved to Atlanta in 2005 to take a position at Georgia Tech, where I oversaw 14 of the 17 sports before I became president of the WNBA team, the Atlanta Dream, for 3 seasons. And then went on to start my own consulting company that focused on youth sports, small businesses, where I met our owner, Colleen Craig, and now starting my third season with the Atlanta Vibe.
Okay, first of all, so impressive. That was the best elevator speech I think I've ever heard. That was
you.
Mine's
really
not that exciting.
Well, it just it was succinct. It was in order of that was really great.
I had to do a TED Talk one time. That's why you got that.
Yeah, I'm just
Very
really
good.
impressed. Well, yeah, you've clearly done it before. You didn't do that for us, but that was great. I do this a lot, and that you've just won. Congratulations. Let's see what Stan does.
Mine's not nearly that exciting. Matter of fact, I don't even think I should speak after that. But I am the president and CEO of Gas South District Explore Gwinnett, which is sort of the tourism machine that we have in Gwinnett County here for bringing events in. Our connection with Theresa and the Vibe is that they play in the arena, which we oversee. Have a great relationship with Theresa and their entire management team and their team in general. So we're excited to be a part of that conversation as well. But they're a great asset to what we do on the campus with all the things we do. Professional women's volleyball is one that we're very proud of that we can talk about as we move on today. But we have a great connection for sure.
Oh, that's fantastic. Obviously, that's why you're both here today. Well, I'm going to give a compliment to both of you. I have been lucky enough to be on the floor for Vibe matches at the Gas South Arena. And I am a bit of a sports junkie. I have been to World Series games. I've been to like 35 different home college football games. I have sat on the floor for the Hawks. I sat on the floor in the Hawks when I was in 5th grade, where Harry Hawk came and ate my head. And I think it's the best experience I've had in sports. Between college and professional. It really is incredible. The only thing that I could say that I probably enjoyed better is when I was my son's wrestling coach, when I was actually on the mat. Right, but that's a hard one to beat when I'm there coaching my son. And it really is amazing. And I remember speaking with my wife after the first one. I didn't know what to expect. I really had never seen organized volleyball outside of a sand volleyball court, with friends. And the athleticism of those ladies is absolutely incredible. And I'm thinking, I'm watching, and you're on the floor, so you're very close. And I'm thinking, there's no way. Why is she even trying to save that? And she leaps 15 feet and stretches out and gets it.
Yeah.
And it is up, ready for the rebound or whatever it's called. I don't know.
The setter.
Yeah, something like that. But it really is incredible. I'm blown away, and I've encouraged everyone I can to go out and enjoy it. It's really, if you like sports, it is so competitive, and just because of the arena and the way the setup is, there's no bad seat.
I'll tell you, and Teresa's heard the story before, but the first match they had at Gas South District, I too had never seen, obviously, professional women's volleyball. And complete honesty, I went there, I wanted to say hello to the management team and some of the sponsors that were there. I wasn't planning on staying very long. I stayed the entire match, and I told her afterwards what you just said. That's the best sporting event I have ever witnessed in my life, and it's true. It's just the athleticism, as you said, is unbelievable. So it is.
And the in-person experience, the hype efforts that are happening, it's really good. And really, I saw a huge improvement on the hype efforts from season 1 to season 2. I don't know that young lady you got that's hyping the crowd. She's on fire.
Yeah, Mamie Gerard is a whole story within herself, right? So she also played college sports or college volleyball. She is a stunt double, and so she is all things volleyball and energy. I would say, based off of what you guys just said, what we're doing this year is a money-back guaranteed. You're going to have fun at the matches because we believe in our product, right? Yeah. And we have never had anybody leave there and say that was not awesome. And our athletes, I've had the opportunity over 3 decades, obviously, to work with a lot of different athletes. They make our job so easy. Because of how they present themselves, their athleticisms, they're dynamic, they're beautiful, they're articulate, and they're so competitive. But we don't have to train them for anything when it comes to media. Like, they just come in and they own the room. And, out of a 16-person roster, probably most of our players, the average height is between 6'1" and 6'4", so they're hard to miss, and people just love them.
Yeah. I follow your the team's Instagram. And the other thing that just really stands out from everything you just said about them, they're having fun.
For sure.
I mean, it doesn't seem like they're working. I mean, they're these, they're prime athletes, but having a blast in everything they do.
Yeah, and look, I would say our owner, Colleen Craig, was really strategic with building the roster and very instrumental in that because she sold a vision and the athletes wanted to be part of that. When she talked about starting this team, the goal was to build a championship team. Right, and so the athletes started recruiting each other because they wanted to be part of a franchise that was owned by a female and that they knew that the goal was to win a championship. Now, we've done that for the regular season. We've fallen a little short in the playoffs, but the athletes know that that's the end goal versus just showing up to compete. They want to win, and that's part of athletics.
I have seen this. I know Stan has too. Winners want to be around other winners.
For sure.
And that's in business, that's in sports, that's in a lot of things. And you see it. Am I mistaken, or did you win the regular season, both season 1 and season 2?
No, we came in second in year 2,
Oh,
but,
in year 2,
but we
okay.
had a 13-match win streak. So
Towards the last 13 games, right?
from March on. So.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's exciting. I think if you've just listened to this, we just stopped right now. I think somebody who's listening is going to be coming to a match. But let's talk a little bit more. Stan, you've been on board
14 years.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's incredible. But with a lot of help from our friends at Gwinnett County, right?
100%.
This is an absolutely incredible partnership that you have. I would argue probably one of the best in the country.
Very unique, I would say, yeah.
And just talk to us. Let's just back up a couple of years. We just had a massive improvement, and then you've just announced another massive improvement. That any one of these things or a portion of these things would be huge for a community. And Gwinnett just keeps reinvesting. Tell us about it.
It's true. Our campus is, from start to finish, is about 33 years old, and various phases, not so much, but. And it's always been a very successful campus, but when the decision was made that it was time to renovate, expand, particularly our convention center and the parking that's related to it as well, the county didn't even miss a beat as far as providing that funding that was needed. An incredible amount put back into our campus, renovated the entire existing convention center, and then doubled the space with new space. Weston came online shortly after that. We added vertical parking as opposed to surface parking that we've had historically. And it just keeps going on and on and on. And I would argue, without any hesitation, that our facilities can compete with anybody. I don't mean here in Atlanta, I don't mean in Georgia, I mean with anybody. For the size we are, for what we do, we can compete with anybody in a level of professionalism, aesthetics, all the things that people think about when they're looking for a place to have an event. We have all of that. As you said, probably a month ago, we made an announcement that it's time now for the renovation of the arena where Theresa's team plays. We are very excited about that. The building is in great shape, but it's also 22 years old, and so there's time for it's time for, some upgrades to try to get more in line with what our competition has as far as premium seating, food and beverage experiences, on and on and on. So we're going to do a $175 million renovation that's already underway. We're in the design phase with our architects now, but we anticipate that we will start construction on the renovation in probably April of '26. So that's how close we are to actually seeing this project come to fruition. It's a 2-year project because we are going to keep the building open during the entirety of the project for many, many reasons. But when it's done, it will be also another building on our campus that can compete with anybody as far as sporting events, concerts, family shows, anything you can imagine that you've been to at our arena. The experience will just be elevated to such a degree. This is going to be a great, great value for our campus to be able to boast about our new arena.
Well, congratulations
thank
on
you.
that. And thank you very much for taking us through that. The one you said 175 million.
No, 1.7 billion
Okay.
on the overall investment,
That-
but
okay.
175 million on the renovation.
Of the arena.
Yes, just for the
Yeah.
arena.
And as I experience arenas, and you mentioned food and beverage, can you just I walk in, how's it going to be different? Talk about that food and beverage experience.
Well, if you think about the traditional concession experience at any building up until the past 5 years or so, you walk up to a counter, you place your order, you're standing in line, you wait for your order, you pay for it. You can be there for time where you wish you were out in the bowl of the arena watching whatever that event might be. The marketplace concept is something that probably 5 years ago when it really began taking off, you walk into an area where food and beverage is served, but there's really no line, there's no attendant that you go to. It's almost like you're in a convenience store. You pick out what you want, you immediately walk over to where you check out, only electronically. Cameras pick up your merchandise, already know what you're having. It'll cut down the time of you being able to retrieve concessions by more than half for sure, and probably more. And that just takes away from people not having opportunity to be inside because they're standing in line at a concession stand for 30 minutes trying to get a hot dog or a beer or whatever it might be. And we do a little bit of that already, but during the renovation, it will become completely uniform throughout the entire building, all cashless. You serve yourself, for lack of a better term. You're in and out in about 5 minutes to get what you want. And that'll be a tremendous asset for us for so many different reasons as far as food and beverage in the building.
That's great. And then just a general upgrade, because the rest of the district looks literally first class.
Yeah, and this will bring the arena up to that level that we think we have. If you think about the convention center, our theater, we just invested probably $2 million in the last 3 years on that building. So that'll put us campus-wide as our assets that we have available will be, again, competitive with anybody. So
Great. Theresa, you're all over the place in Metro Atlanta. You've worked at all these great facilities. I have heard, and Stan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I just have heard these rumors that the Cobb Galleria folks, the World Congress Center folks, I never remember the thing down by the airport, but all the other, I'll call them competitive. We're all it's all Team Metro Atlanta, but
right.
people go and shop.
Yep.
They've all been up here because they did not realize what they were now competing against, and they were actually hearing it from people that were looking around the Atlanta region. And everyone was saying nothing looks better than the Gas South District.
They've all been here, and that includes the new arena in Savannah. That includes the arena in Athens. And I do think it is competition. There's no doubt about it. But for us to be able to show what we have, we invited them. Yeah, come look and see what we've done. And I do think when they got here, for those who had never been on campus, they were like, geez Louise, this is a pretty impressive place. And the biggest compliment we received, if you go to Athens Arena or if you go to Savannah, you'll see so many similarities to the building we have here based on they came and toured our building and they thought, I like the way this looks. So it's very comparable, and that's a great bonus for us and a compliment to us, I think. So,
That's great. It's very flattering when someone
absolutely
borrows your concept.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
It is.
As a user of the facility, you want to share your experience? I'm sure Stan's team has asked what you all would like to see in it, and just what's
Yeah,
your
for
thoughts?
sure. And when I was at Georgia Tech, we went through multiple renovations. So Cheryl LaFoy, who's our VP of Operations, when we've spoken with Dan Markham and his team to give them what we would like to see from a technology standpoint to an experience standpoint to continue to upgrade for us as a competitive team and league. And working hand in hand with that has been great for us because we are so young as a team that for them to take that feedback and look to incorporate it is only going to make us more successful. Likewise, I would say the Westin came on during halfway through the first of our season. So the athletes that have been with us have seen that. Their families love it. They love the convenience of it. And then our owner, Colleen Craig, has another business called Rally Sports Management that she's looking and saying, can I bring youth tournaments up here and host them in the convention center and really enhance the economy here in Gwinnett so that we can really build volleyball and make volleyball to Gwinnett what basically baseball is to Cobb County.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We hope that happens too, so appreciate that.
I can't thank you both enough for sharing that. I am really excited. I've been, Stan, I don't know if I ever shared this with you, but I remember coming in 1995 to watch my, at that time, I think 5-year-old niece perform at the theater.
At the theater.
Yes, and there was no Sugarloaf Parkway exit. We drove up Satellite Boulevard, and I'm like, we're in the middle of we're just surrounded by woods.
Yeah.
And we turned left, and there's a theater. And I think my wife and I were 24 or 25 at the time, and we really didn't want to be there. But we were being supportive, aunt and uncle. But it was really, it was this like gem in the middle of nowhere. And it's just incredible what it is today, fast forward 30 years. It really is fantastic. Could not find a better location sitting right off I-85.
Yeah, geographically, there's nobody who can compete with our location. As you said, being so close to the interstate, 25 minutes from downtown, it's a perfect location. Somebody much smarter than me came up with this location, but I'm so glad they did for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we know who they are.
Yeah, I think I do too.
But the Westin, since the Westin, it's just coming at, when you're on the highway, you just see it coming out of the trees.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Well, the Westin people recently have said, man, that thing came up so quick. And I said, yeah, it only took 15 years for us to build that thing. But it was the missing link of everything that we hoped for on the campus as far as bigger events, larger events, Sunday through Friday events versus those that are 1 days or 2 days or whatever. And the Westin, much like the Vibe, have been great partners for us. And I think collectively we all are benefiting from the totality of the campus as we see it today, for sure.
Yes, and I'm going to just jump in there. As you know, I lead an organization just across the parking
across
lot.
the street.
And to have one of the greatest chambers in America on the campus as well.
Doesn't hurt a bit.
The energy of we do an event either here in the district or maybe it's at the Westin. I have yet to drive over here in 2 years. I just walk. I mean, if it's raining, I'm wearing an umbrella. If it's cold, I'll wear a jacket. I just love it to be able to walk. It feels the way you designed it to have that urban flow, the walkability is really incredible. And I think the outside and all the outside spaces are just as strong as all the inside spaces.
Well, I will tell you, I'll admit to you today that a lot of people think that we control your building.
Right, of course.
And when they,
and me.
Yeah, and so when they start talking,
you.
when they start talking with the assumption that we own that building, I'll let them talk for a few minutes, and according to which way the conversation goes, I'll say, "Oh, you need to talk to Nick Messina. He controls that building."
But I think we have a reciprocal commission, right? So if you book something in my parking lot, you get 10%.
Exactly. That's what it is. So
You guys are good partners.
we are good partners.
Yeah, I serve on Stan's board. Stan serves on my board, so we're both each other's bosses and employees.
That's true. It is true.
I'm really excited about the season. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's coming up in 2026?
Yeah, for sure. Our schedule, thankfully, just got released last Friday. So we open here on January 8th, and then we have a big Sunday match on January 11th. We're going to make that all games, one arena with a one Gwinnett focus. And so Our goal with that is we're going to guarantee anybody that comes that they're going to have a boatload of fun. We also just hired a new GM assistant coach, and I'm not sure if you guys, I know you may have met Bird, but Laura Bird Kuhn was formerly the head coach at the Omaha Supernovas. And
Oh,
so
wow.
for us to get her, she's also a former Georgia Tech grad.
Oh, that's great.
So for her to be back in Atlanta and bring that energy and that excitement, she's a big personality with a lot of volleyball knowledge that loves this area. So for us, those first 2 matches, this is the first time we're opening at home for our season.
Oh, that's great.
And so it's super exciting. We're packaging some of those so that people can get both for as a pack and bring their families. But we're also going to invite the community because we want to make it a competition where we embrace the different clusters within Gwinnett and then also provide some fundraising opportunities back to the schools. So our focus is to make an exciting atmosphere. We know the product on the court is amazing. Our athletes, their athleticism really speaks for itself, but whether it's Mamie as the in-game host or anything that happens up in the concourse to outside on the front lawn, we're always looking to say, what is the new thing for volleyball? Like, we're creating that. In soccer, you've got the scarf, and football, you got the tailgate. Yeah. We're going to create some of that, some additional things this year so that it can really be fun and more interactive for families and young kids, but also young professionals and those that are empty nesters. So it'll cut across all the different demographics with the end goal of having a championship team that people can just wrap their arms around.
Awesome. Who are those first 2 matches against?
So the first one's against Columbus, and the second one is against Grand Rapids.
Okay. And is there, when you think about certain teams, they have their big rival. Is there, in this season, as after a couple seasons under your belt, is there a rival going between some, or are they all equally?
Yeah, no, for us, it's probably still Omaha. We've been first and second back and forth.
Okay.
Orlando was the one that knocked us out last year. Grand Rapids knocked us out of the playoffs the first year. So I would say those 3 or 4 teams really are the focus. But they're also, Indy is new to the league. This is their second year, and they made it to the championship game. The league as itself, we've rebranded and expanded at the same time. And then we're in the process of announcing probably another 1 or 2 other teams to the league. So, I tell everybody this is the least expensive it is to be in and be part of this. And you've seen the wave of women's sports grow, whether that's through the Caitlin Clark effect in the WNBA. But for us, the league itself is in a upward trend that's super exciting. The athletes can feel it. I was able to travel with our team that first match to Omaha. Again, I've been part of some pretty special athletic moments. Watching the players walk through the tunnel, knowing they're making history, and then that being a 5-set thriller that we won the first 2, lost the second, and then we were down 11-5 and came back and won, was absolutely awesome. So our team and our athletes take great pride in that, and they want to make sure that the fans get that interaction. So our autograph lines at the end are anywhere from a half hour to an hour, depending on how many people we have lined up.
That's great. By the way, it seems like you take a lot of pride in it too.
Oh, absolutely.
You're beaming.
Yeah.
It's really cool to experience.
I tell folks I don't have kids, but this is a mini project for me because my nieces just moved to Atlanta. They're like, this is so cool, right? And so, to watch the athletes know that they're making history, they're truly not going to understand the impact of that until they have kids and or grandkids. And we have 3 athletes from our first roster that have had children for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And we sent them little Atlanta Vibe onesies. They're still part of our team.
That's pretty cool.
And that's when you look at it and know that you're part of building a league. It's not just a team. It's a league that will forever impact generations to come. Very few people can say they've ever done that.
Yeah. For sure. Well, I love the energy that you're displaying right now, talking about. It's really cool to experience. I love the energy in the stadium, or the arena. It's really absolutely amazing. Well, okay, I'm gonna totally change subjects, kind of.
Sure.
So, Georgia Tech, what a season they're having. You used to be an assistant AD there, right? How did, as an AD, which I just think is what a cool and stressful job.
Yeah.
Like the performance of the teams, is that weighing on you? Is literally the outcome, is that dependent upon, I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, I was at Tech for 11 seasons. It was a very special time there, seeing what Coach Keys is doing with that team is phenomenal, right? And so I think it's pretty special because of the quarterback that they have. The fans, I would say, got normalized with winning when Paul Johnson was there. They didn't like the style because it was the triple option.
That's right.
But now you've got Brent that actually went to Georgia Tech, right? So it's a different deal for them, and it's special. But NIL and rev share is changing college sports, and so it's great that they can have this moment in time. And hopefully the fans appreciate it, the state appreciates it, and the school maximizes it.
Yeah, well said. So we, Stan and I both serve on the Gwinnett County Public Schools Foundation that you referred to earlier that you're partnering with on January 11th. And at the Sports Hall of Fame, he was our keynote speaker.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed.
Nick and I have different opinions about who the best football team might be. Neither one of us, it would not be Georgia Tech. But I will tell you, as
It's true.
watching Georgia Tech this year, I am excited for them.
Yes.
They have played so well, and I do wish them the best, except for that one game, perhaps. But other than that, I'm go Tech.
Well,
you know.
I don't mean this in a negative way. I just the records speak for themselves. It's a bit of like the underdog, and here they come. I mean, it was cool when Vandy was undefeated up until last week.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see
agree.
that team bubble up. Stan, you're a big, I think it's the University of Georgia.
That's correct,
Fan.
yes.
And I went to a little school up in Columbus, Ohio called
I've heard of
the Ohio State Buckeyes. And so this sounds arrogant, we're used to winning.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always going to be in the hunt. So it's really fun to watch Georgia Tech.
It is.
And I'm really excited for Georgia Tech in Georgia that Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's going to be fun, and it brings energy. I will tell you. I mean, obviously, all of our Georgia Tech alumni friends that you and I know all have a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
It's so fun to watch that the bubbling up to that weekend. But I know Ohio State will be beating Michigan in Ann Arbor that weekend. But let me just get that out of the way.
Just get that out of the way.
Yeah. We got to stop the losses we've had the last 4 years. But anything else we want to talk about in women's sports? I think you addressed it so well. But it is. I mean, I saw such excitement around women's soccer at the Olympics and then the World Cup. I mean, it just seems to be this really special time. Like what's next?
What's next is you're going to see the impact at the college level, right? I mean, if you watch the NCAA softball tournament, you had a pitcher that was making $1 million in an NIL deal. From a volleyball standpoint, we were talking earlier, is that I look at Gas South and we should be hosting big time college volleyball matches that are like get 4 good teams in here and bring a lot of energy here, because we are at the intersection of ACC and SEC, whether it's football, basketball, or something else, right? And volleyball, you saw it in Nebraska. They were very intentional with hosting a game on their football field. Like our athletes, the first time they went to Mercedes-Benz, they came back and said, "Can we play here?" Because they just saw Nebraska do it, right? And so from a women's standpoint, the glass ceiling for these athletes does not exist. They don't talk about it. They don't see it. Like I tell people, they'd jump through it. If there was a glass ceiling, our athletes would just bust right through it. But for women's sport, this is a really unique time because of the foundation that has been laid. And the athletes are unapologetic. Like they don't come with, well, I don't understand. And so I think from a business standpoint, from an economic standpoint, the Big South tournament is hosted in downtown Atlanta. That is a number 5 economic driver in downtown Atlanta. You look here at Gas South, and there's so many things you can do from a volleyball standpoint, whether that's at college level or at the youth level with some of the other things that Colleen runs. And so I think it's about strategy and it's about intentionality, but there's no reason you can't have the same energy and excitement. And then likewise, you guys are bringing the ACC women's basketball tournament here, right? Yeah. And so being in the ACC, I was on that committee. I know what it was in Greensboro. I know what it can be here. And so I think it's really about focus, intentionality, and vision. And for both of you, I've worked with you now for 2 years. You guys have those 3 things. And you both have daughters.
Yeah,
and so, you're the ultimate girl dad that we are going to have a theme about, right? And you're the ones that are going to be pushing to say, let's bring that here. And sometimes that's what you need, because people are afraid of being the innovators. A lot of people want to be the early adapters or the fast followers, but there's no reason when you build that out that you can't have all that right here, and then people are going, we want to be just like they are and what they're doing for women's sports.
I agree with all that. I'll tell you, the ACC conference is coming here. We went to North Carolina for the their media event, much like what they had here, but on a much bigger scale. And I was really surprised by the press conference they did where the commissioner spoke. It was a room full of not only local media, state media, national media, international media who was covering that event, talking about the ACC upcoming season, women's basketball upcoming season, and then sort of the segue into the championship being played here at Gas South Arena. And it was so impressive. I mean, it was almost like a red carpet event, flashes going off when the teams would come in. So women's sports is on an incline. I've been a sports fan like you my whole life, but on the professional side of it, dealing with teams, I've never seen women's sports at such a trajectory that it has right now. It's pretty impressive, for sure.
I was not aware of it until really meeting you all, and it clearly you put it on my radar, and I've been watching it, and it everything I see in the media, you cannot go a week without that story. It doesn't seem that there's an end in sight, I mean, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
As you said, we're both dads of really awesome young ladies. I have 2 daughters, you have 1, and they don't know limits.
That's true.
It really is awesome. I know my wife is so proud of both our daughters, and you know this, but my daughter ran at Augusta University cross country and track. Literally, I love the energy that the teams had. That was really cool to experience. Very different than men's sports, bravado, testosterone, but they are really for each other. It's very cool to watch. But then I go and I watch you all play. Oh my gosh, the enthusiasm and excitement. They're high-fiving after every play.
Yeah.
Am I saying the right thing? Is
Yes,
it every
you're
play?
fine.
Okay, great. But it's so cool. I love the energy, and they're really for each other. I'm not sure you always see that in men's sports, and that's really cool to see.
I'll tell you a humbling experience for me regarding women athletes, particularly Atlanta Vibe players, is we had a photo session, maybe it was last year, and Theresa brought out somebody to get a photograph of me for social media, and I'm standing there and I look up and I notice she's a tad taller than I am, and I said, "Hey, can you just like hunch over just a little bit?" She said, "If I hunch over anymore, I'm gonna hit the floor." She was already hunching.
Oh, that's great.
She had already bent down to try to get next to me. I said, "Okay, well said, well said."
Yeah, and from an athlete standpoint, again, our ladies know that their sense of enthusiasm and support for one another, and you've been part of it since our launch, right? And so when they walk into a room, they command the room. When they make a mistake, they're, "Hey, come on, let's go,"
yeah.
right? And so we actually, from an advertising standpoint, have talked about going in and doing a photo shoot where we go into a corporate office and our ladies take over the office with the guys and being like, "Hey, come on, let's go."
That's a great idea.
So that,
That's
because
good.
again, they bring it. Right.
Yes.
And, and we've been fortunate that we haven't had a ton of losses, but even after a loss, they are so accessible to the fans and willing to take photos, and they are able to flip a switch, knowing how important it is to the fans and building lifelong Vibe fans. And so for our athletes, I give them a ton of credit with that, because when you do lose, it's hard to bounce back that quick. But that's part of why sports are so important to young girls, right? Is that it teaches them not to get in their own head, that the resilience and the bounceability to come back is incredible.
Yeah.
That's great. My youngest daughter, who's the one that was at Augusta, she's like apparently now our personal coach, and anything we're trying to do, she's like, you can push her. She's always like trying to get in her head. Stop, get out of your head, Mom. You can run faster. We're like, we're old. Leave us alone. We're fine. But it's really great. I watched sports change her. Not that she was shy, but she is just such a stronger, more confident person in everything she does. And everything is positive. Like, she sees the silver lining in everything, and sports really was a very important part of her growing up. And it's not that she had some desire to run cross country or track. She did it because her friends were doing it, and she fell in love with it. And I'm just so happy for the sports that she's competed in. Well, Stan, we talked about the championship that's coming. That was great.
Yep.
I wanted to definitely mention that. I'm glad it got brought up. Anything else coming up? You and I spend a lot of time together. We speak on stages together, and I want to give you this compliment that I've clearly told you before. I don't know that I've ever seen a venue have more diversity. And diversity can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. But I'm talking about ethnic, age, gender. You all do it all. If you have I've lived in Gwinnett long enough where I had little kids, that weren't even in elementary school. And then I had 3 kids in elementary school, and then 3 in high school, and now 3 out of college. There's always been something for someone.
Yeah.
And as Gwinnett has become more diverse, ethnically diverse, you are producing things for literally every population.
Yeah, and it definitely is intentional, and I think it's our responsibility to do that based on the community that we have here in Gwinnett that we're all very proud of. I do get a comment every once in a while. So they'll say, "Hey, I rode by the marquee the other day. I saw an artist there I've never even heard of." And I said, "Well, I understand that there was 10,000 people who showed up who know very well who that artist was."
Yes.
So, demographically, all the things that we consider from our community, we do feel responsible for providing events that are beneficial, entertaining to our entire community. And thank you for the compliment, but we do try to do that.
Well, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
I appreciate your engagement at the Gwinnett Chamber. We really appreciate it. We're better because of both of your organizations being involved with us. And please don't continue. Please don't ever stop calling, looking for an opportunity to partner. We really appreciate it, and we think both very highly of your organizations.
Perfect. Thank
No,
you.
we appreciate
Thank you
your
for the
support.
time. Yep.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.